What you need must be before you marry. Many of us think that our lives will be better after we marry, but realize this now. If when you are free and you have no husband, no children, no responsibility, and you do not do the will of God right now when you are free, you're not going to do it when you get married. I'm sorry. People say to me, Pastor, when I get married, I will serve the Lord. It's a lie. You are lying. Totally lying. As a matter of fact, you are lying to yourself, which is even worse. This is your best time. Why am I saying this? This is the first thing. I've said it with you now. Number one, to even marry at all, to be able to choose what you want to do, number one, is to be single. The question I want to ask you, are you single? Too many of us get our identity from what other people say about us. You want to try it? You know, there was a man called Alfred Nobel. He was he was making the best explosives, and he was the most successful explosive manufacturing company owner in the world. And one day his brother died, and they mistakenly thought he was the one. So the newspapers published that he had died. Alfred Nobel dead. Explosion expert dead. And people started talking about him in the paper. When he saw what they said about him after he died, after they thought he died, he came up with the Nobel Prize to revamp his image and change his focus. Listen to me. When you are in front of me, I'm going to say good things about you. It's natural. But when you turn your back, I will say the true things about you. And you see, the problem with you and I is that your identity must come. You know, they asked John Maxwell one time at a meeting like this. He was the one speaking like I'm speaking. And somebody put up his hand. I have a question. Oh. Said, yeah, go on. Says, this question is from Mrs. Maxwell. Mrs. Maxwell, does John Maxwell make you happy? Hey, do you know what John Maxwell said? I want to hear the answer to this question. So he went to sit down and gave the microphone to his wife. And the wife got up and said, when I first got married, I used to think that John was the source of my happiness. But it took me a while, and I found out quickly, though, that the only source of my happiness was me and God. No man is designed to make you happy. I'm sorry to say, guys, no woman is designed to make you happy. That's not her primary function. Happiness and joy in marriage are byproducts of people who know who they are. Realizing that she made a commitment to me, therefore I'm making a commitment to her. I'm going to get there in a minute, but I'm just trying to get this across. This idea of being single is something we've run away from for so long that we need to be complete in ourselves. How do you know you're single? When you stop finding satisfaction in what other people say or how they treat you. You're going to move on. You say, why is this important? You see, if you, this is the problem. The reason why we've always felt that when we get married, things are going to be okay, they're going to work afterwards, is because we always thought that marriage was a destination. Marriage, unfortunately, is not a destination, it is a vehicle. You need to write that down. It's a metaphor. You see, the metaphor by which you see something determines how you react to it. For instance, if you think life is a game, you will always think about winning. If you think that life is fun, you would always want to play. Am I making sense? If you think that life is serious and you must succeed by all means, you will always work. Am I making sense? The metaphor by which you look at something determines how you respond to it. Are you here? So if you look at marriage as the destination, you're making the biggest mistake of all time. Marriage is a vehicle, and I'll explain to you this way. You see, marriage is supposed to be a vehicle a man and a woman enter into to get them to a destination. Let me give you an example. A man, I want you to, your imagination works here. Let's follow me. A man, his wife, who's not married here? I want a guy. Protocol, are you married? Not married, good. What's your favorite car? Come. What's your favorite car? BMW. That's why you're not married. He wants to use the car to get the woman, be my wife. Anyway, so a BMW, that's the car he likes, okay? And his wife is driving, is with him. They're going to Lagos. And you have 2 children, and I'm restricting it to 2 because of school fees.
The Lord will provide.
The Lord will provide. Okay, now you have caused trouble for me. That's Christian lingo. Let me first cancel that one. First and foremost, there's a young man who says that in my friend's office. So one day, my friend decided he wants to teach him a lesson, Sami Badaki. So Sami called this young man who always says the Lord will provide. Young man, I want you to go to UI and deliver this letter to Professor so-so and so. He's in so-so and so faculty in UI. This is the letter, take it to him in UI. Gave it to him and went to his office. 15 minutes later, he came out. He said, you're still here? I said, yes now. You asked me to go to UI, but you did not give me transport fare. You didn't give me, you didn't provide for anything to get there. He says, the Lord, it's a cop-out. Let me dismiss some stupidity here. Do you think God uses dollars in heaven? What about pounds? What made you think he will even use naira? Naira will take more space, 170 to 1. God doesn't deal with physical things. Whatever God wants to give you here on earth, he will use a man. Go and think about it. Lord will provide. It's coming. Just go and fast and pray for the BM. It will be manufactured in your bedroom. God will build it there. It's a man that built it. Now, he's married with his BM. His wife has entered the car. 2 kids at the back. They're going to Lagos. And on the way to Lagos, they have a flat tire. What happens? He parks the car. The wife comes out, helps with fixing the car. The children come out, help fixing the car. Am I making sense? Are you here? The radiator of the BMW he bought is too small. He bought the American specs instead of the tropicalized one. So they have to go and look for pure water, put it on. The wife, while he's doing it, his wife brings out a handkerchief and cleans his head and says, honey, I love you. Let's just get this thing going. They drive further. They have a flat tire. They all come down and do what? They fix the tire. Am I right? And they finally get to Lagos. They see grandma and grandpa. Everybody's happy. And they start coming back. And they now get into the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Mountain of fire goes slow. And for 8 hours, they are stuck in a place. Same BMW, same family. And all of a sudden, after 8 hours, a meter of space becomes available in front of the car. And the wife says, honey, move forward. I said, are you crazy? My leg is paining me. My leg has been paining me. And my hand has been on this cloth for the last 3 years. What's wrong with you? How can you tell me to press? If you want to drive, come and drive. Then Junior at the back is getting irritated. Said, Junior said, tell them my sister not to come back to my section. Said, Daddy will talk to him and say, if you dare open your mouth, I will drop you on this expressway right now. Now what's happening? The family that was going to Lagos that had a flat tire, had engine problems, overcame it, but cannot overcome 8 hours or 9 hours of go slow. Why? When your marriage is going somewhere, you will stop fighting. When your marriage is going nowhere, you will complain. Thank you, sir. The vehicle is the marriage, not the destination. That's why you take your vehicle for maintenance. You take your marriage for maintenance. That's why you take your vehicle. for servicing. Am I right? The only thing you're not allowed to do to this particular vehicle is panel beat. You know, it's only in Nigeria they panel beat. Most countries they replace panels. Come on, talk to me. Marriage. It's not a destination. You see, everything God does, He has a purpose. Let me break some myths for you quickly, because some of you don't believe me. First and foremost, the reason why you need to be complete is the fact that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Your love for your wife is meant to be unconditional. Not whether she gives you sex or not. Not whether she cooks for you. Same thing with a wife to her husband. Your love for your husband has nothing to do with whether he's doing the right thing or not. Oh, you don't know that? You see, I have a philosophy, and this is my philosophy. My job in this marriage is to satisfy my wife, do whatever I need to do for her life, while her job is to do whatever it takes to make sure that I succeed in my own life. Now, whether she carries out what she's going to do for me is not based on whether or not I satisfy her. Or else I won't be like God. Now, let me explain where I'm going. Everything God does has a purpose. Let me explain this to you. I had to go and preach in the Redeemed Christian Church of God one time. I used to be a pastor in the Redeemed, as you heard. So they invited me to do a marriage seminar for senior pastors. Senior pastors. They were all seated like you are seated, with tables. You know, area pastors, coordinator. And I said, are you sure it's me you want? He said, yeah. Because I'm not popular with marriage. I don't do marriage like pastor. I don't do marriage. Because my ideas are too radical for marriage. So I said to the wives in the congregation, I said, your husband has been telling you that you should suffer here on earth and do this ministry work, and when you get to heaven, you will enjoy the reward. They said, yes. I said, he lied. I'm going to move to this section. I said, he lied. He said, I said, I told you, is it me you want? They said, yes. I said, marriage starts and finishes where? There's no marriage in heaven. So all those promises he has been making for you in heaven, tell them you want fulfilled here on earth. He lied to you. When you get to heaven, you will see her and you will say, that was my wife on earth. God's purpose for marriage is where? Who of you still don't believe me? Matthew 22:29. Matthew 22:29. Your problem is that you don't know scriptures and you don't know the power of God. For when the dead rise, they won't be married. They will be like angels in heaven. It is those who are left here on earth that will be married, not you and I. We're done with marriage. Where is the function of marriage? Where is God's purpose for marriage? Down below now. Marriage is not a spiritual destination thing. You know the story? A man died and left his wife. The brother married him, he died. 7 of them died. That woman must have been tough. They now are asking Jesus, who will be the husband in resurrection? Jesus says, nothing like that happens. So whatever you do, listen to me. If you are single, listen to me now. I want you to follow me. Are you here? A single person marrying another single person, then God gives them a purpose. Where? Now, if you don't have anything to do, what do you need help for? That's why the Bible says it makes him a help. So if I stand up now and I say to my brother again, the protocol officer, and I say to him, Oga, come. Yeah. Help me.
What?
Help me.
To preach, sir.
No, not to preach. Help me.
What, sir?
That's what you should ask. When a man comes and says, marry me, you say, to do what? Because that's what a help is meant to help you fulfill your assignment. Where? Are you here? Are you here? Thank you, sir. I want to just check, make sure I'm following my... Are you here? Finally, this is the one you may not like. Remember what I said? Single? Can I tell you there are many of us who are married right now who never did or dealt with the issue of being single. And so we were looking for our spouses to complete us. And 10, 15 years later, we're worse than when we started. Don't make the mistake we made. Nobody taught us this in our own time. As a matter of fact, they told us to be looking for spouses who will complete us. But they always tell us 1 + 1 is equal to 1. No, the Bible says the two shall what? Become is a verb. It is a process. It's not when you married on the stage. Okay, I do. You put the ring in. They have become one. No, they shall become. It's a process. It takes time. They'll come when they come and say, these two have become one. They shall become. Is it super glue? They shall become. It's a process. You start that day. That's when you get up and find out that his shoes are smelling. His socks smell. That's when you, at the very day you got married, you get home because you've never slept with him before, technically. Notice I said technically. You've never slept with him before. You don't know that his armpits smell. You get home that day and you smell. What did I enter into? You heard the story about the man who met this woman who was singing at the bar. Beautiful woman singing, long hair, doing so well. And he was an American, so he said, marry me. And the girl said, no problem. So they were in Las Vegas, they got married, took her to the hotel room. As they were about to consummate the marriage, the woman said, just give me a minute. She removed the hair. Said, okay, I can manage that. And she opened her mouth and removed the teeth. Thought it was all. Then she shook one leg and one leg came out. And she started vibrating the other hand, and then the second hand came out. The man looked at her and said, sing, woman, sing. Because that was all he had. Singing. Become. It's a process. Finally, remember what I said? You need to be single, completing yourself in God. Listen to me. Look, let me be frank with you. I thought when I got married, my sexual appetites will be met. Nobody will tell you this. I thought, now that I have a wife, we'll be making love 24/7, hanging on ropes and all those things you see in the movies. They will just look at ourselves and music will start. How many of you have been kissing a girl and music starts playing? It hasn't happened to me yet, except when the keyboard is playing. I thought, I have a wife now, it's going to be sex 24/7. Anytime I want it, no more problem with sex. It's a lie. She has periods sometimes. And sometimes I'm tired. And a lot of times, she's tired. Sometimes we are broke. The urge just flies out through the window. Sometimes we are hungry. No sex. Sometimes we're angry. I don't even want to smell sex. Come on, talk to me. It's a fantasy. Now let me talk about living happily ever after. And they got married and they lived happily ever after. Yeah. Means they had no more problems till they died. And all their children were good. They were never broke. There were no issues. They didn't fight. They didn't quarrel. Anybody who's in quarreling with his wife right now is not in a marriage. Is in an arrangement. How can you come from your background and your wife comes back from her own background and you won't clash? Not possible. Now, I'm not saying you should clash and make it negative, but your personalities will rub each other off the wrong way. You need to deal with it and move on. Am I right? Now, let me explain. Remember what I said to you? Marriage is a vehicle. Single people coming together, entering into a vehicle towards what? Their destiny. Am I right? Now, this is my problem, and you've got to hear me, and I'm going to close it. I can take a few questions quickly. This is my problem. I used to think destiny was a place you arrived at. Abi? I'm always imagining my most favorite guy in the world today is Barack Obama. I like that guy. I would do anything to shake his hands, and I won't wash my hands for 2 weeks. But this is my problem. I keep asking myself, what could be greater than being the president of the United States? That's the most powerful man on the face of the earth. What could be greater? Now, I used to be the pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and for whatever reason, I had to leave. And then this is how God dealt with me. He says the purpose of a microphone is to amplify your voice. He says the minute you stop fulfilling purpose, you are disposed of as a microphone. Am I right? If you are a choir leader and your purpose in the choir here is to sing and you lose your voice, you are not fulfilling purpose. But it does not affect your destiny. Purpose and destiny. You see, purpose is sterile. Destiny is fruitful. Now I'm going somewhere now. Listen to me. And this is how the Lord began to deal with me. And it was John Maxwell that first taught me that success is not a destination, it's a journey. So a few years ago, I had to buy a ticket. And the ticket read this: Lagos, London, London, Detroit, Detroit, London, London, Lagos. For some of you, it will be Lagos, Abuja, Lagos. That's fine. And he said, Francis, where is your destination? I naturally said Detroit. And he said, no. Where is my destination, ladies and gentlemen? What? Thank you. Lagos. Because my ticket said Lagos, London, London, Detroit, Detroit, London, London, Lagos. So where is my destination? He says, then why don't you just go to the toll gate of Lagos and get there and come back to Ibadan? You would have fulfilled destiny. He says, no, your destiny is the leg you travel that brought you back to Lagos. Too much of your life, you think you're going to get married and everything is finished and settled. It is the journey that is part of your destiny. How you marry, how you treat her in the marriage, how you handle relationships, how you manage your finances, how you help people, how you impact. It's when you look back at your life. Let me tell you something. When I was in Redeemed, we wanted to buy 2 projectors for church. Projectors were 350,000 naira then. I had about 600 young people in my church at that time. And so I'll get up on Sunday. How many of you will give me 1,000 naira? 1,000 naira, 1,000 naira. You know, I've been doing campaign for democracy. 1,000 naira for the projector, 1,000. We finally bought one. And we finally bought the second one after about 3 months. And we'll be dancing. Meanwhile, the projectors we bought have become obsolete. Not only that, I have 9 projectors that have become obsolete since. At one particular time, my greatest destiny was buying 2 projectors worth 600,000. Because that was how much I had. Today, when you have more money, you find out that your problems amplify to the money you have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I went to Lagos one time to complain to my pastor, Pastor Esco. We were paying 100,000 naira a month for Jesus Embassy at Cocoa House. They wanted to increase it to 100,000 a month, which is 1.2 million naira a year. And so I was very angry, and I knew Pastor Esco had some people in the board in his church in Lagos. I drove to Lagos angry. Pastor, I need to complain. They want to increase our rent to 100,000 naira a month. I need you to talk to the board members. Pastor looked at me top to bottom and said, you pay what? 100,000 naira a month. He said, yeah. He said, I pay 100,000 naira per service. I just made a U-turn and came back to Ibadan. I was sober. Nobody is telling you that there will be no day you will reach the finishing line like this and be dancing and rejoicing. That's why every day is important. The journey is part of the destination. 3 questions I've asked you, and I'm going to close on that. First one, are you single? Even it's to married people. Is it too late for you to be single in your marriage? No. When you know the truth will do what? Make you free. Your husband can't complete you. Your wife can't complete you. I'm sorry. They are not meant to. Don't put a burden on somebody that they cannot deliver on. You know what I want my wife to think? I want my wife to know the stress I've been through today so that she can decide the kind of lunch I should eat. Then I want my wife to imagine that after eating that lunch, whether I digested it or not, she should be able to imagine what kind of dinner I should eat. I want her to be thinking about me 24/7. Don't you? I want my priorities to be her priorities. Come on, talk to me. But I think about her once in a while. When I have time. I asked her to come with me today because it's the only time we're going to have today. By tomorrow, work starts. I work on Saturday and Sunday. She works Monday to Friday. So we hardly see each other. She's tired. She would love to be resting right now. Why put a burden on somebody they can't deliver on? God is your source, not man. So even if you're married, are you single? Unique. You know, I wish I can tell you some home truths here. I am an aggressive risk taker. I borrowed money one time, told my wife to borrow me money to finish the construction work we were doing at New Streams. I forgot. She's my wife. I borrowed, told her to go and borrow, was it ₦1 million from somebody that added it. It was a year later. I turned around and said, I'm owing. She said, yeah, I have paid. Don't come back. I don't know if you get my point. Temperaments are different. I don't know if you get my point. She's very calm. She takes her time. She wants to make a decision. She can take 3 days thinking about it. Me, I've made the decision, executed it, bought the ticket, and I'm traveling. But do you know what? When I got into trouble, that I appreciated her values. Now, having said that, there are things that will make my wife panic. That by the time she tells me about them, I will laugh and solve them with a phone call. God knows exactly why He's equipping you the way you are. He's preparing you for an adequate person. But when you drop who you are in order to impress some idiot who is still going to disappoint you later. Be single. God made you like this for a reason. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I hated dancing fast songs. And I used to be social prefect in my school. So I would have told the DJ, when you are about to play slow songs, let me know. One song before, do like this. I'll go and stand by the girl I want to dance blues with. And immediately he does that, I start toasting her through the fast song. Maybe that you're going to dance with me in the next song. She doesn't know that it's blues. I know. And so I grab her and I begin to dance with her like that. I just want her to touch my body. I don't know about you, but I was carnal like you. But guess what? Till today, in my church, when they're doing all that praise and worship, I'm always like this. And when slow songs start, I'm dancing with God. That's my temperament. So my choir people used to wonder, Pastor doesn't like the praise and worship. from my nature, I don't like boom, 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 boom. Has nothing. That's my nature. Now, I'm married to a very gentle woman, completely quiet, yet I am more sensitive than she is because of my calling. But God knows I need this kind of balance in my life. Some of you want to marry somebody just like you. Yeah. I promise you, as you hate yourself, you will hate the person more. Just like you. Be single. Number two, those of us who are married, there is a reason why God brought you together. Let me tell you something. Have you noticed that if those of you, how many of you have met twins before? Who are identical? They look alright, they have exactly the same temperament, they even talk the same way. Have you noticed that when you fall in love with one and not the other? So you will find out that, listen to me, there is something in somebody that triggers something about you, not their temperaments. It's just something about them. You find something that is your match, that is your colleague, your co-pilot. I don't know if you get my point. Even though you won't find it with the second twin. You see, I always ask people in church, I'll say to them, why do you want to marry this girl? They will say, because she loves God. Okay. Number two, they will say, because she's very gentle. Number three, because she respects me. I say, okay, good. If she stops respecting you, will you divorce her? You say, no. If she stops loving God, will you divorce her? I say, well, no. I said, then that's not it. If you can see or know why you love somebody, when that thing goes, your love will go with it. It's a mystery. All I know is that when this woman leaves, a part of me leaves. That's all I know. And when she comes back, a part of me is back. I don't know what it is. There are many qualities about her that I discovered after we got married. Dr. Adebola in my church told us this story. He used to go to one of the churches. He said they would tell you to list all the qualities you want in your husband. And people would write, handsome, tall, works in a bank, do all that. Now, first of all, I have two cases for you. Number one, I'm sorry. When you write all that quality, now the question you should be asking yourself is, will a tall, dark, working in the bank man want to marry me? You are praying the wrong prayer. Stop praying about the man. Pray about being the kind of person that person wants to marry. Not. He said he wrote out all the qualities for his wife. Put it in a prayer bucket. They prayed for weeks. He said when he met his wife, none of the qualities that he wrote were there. But the qualities he did not know to ask were there. You think you know what you need in your old age? You don't. I know a woman whose husband left her, abandoned her, married a younger woman. When he now had cancer, there was only one place to go, to his original wife. She cared for him till he died. Not only that, took the second wife into her house, took the children and gave them an education. You think you know what you need when you're 50? When you start having a pot belly and your hair starts to recede, you think you know what you need? Do you think you know what you need when you're going to be broke? When you lose your job? Do you think you know what you need when you don't have a child on time? Do you know what you need when a man stands with you through thick and thin? Do you think you can choose? Are you single? Marriage is a vehicle. Finally, the journey is the destination. Listen to me, those of you who are here today, what you have heard is part of your destiny if you act on it. When I heard Miles share this many years ago, it blessed me. I realized that I got to be complete. That's when I have something to offer. We don't do things the same way. Actually, we like opposites. You know, somebody said, blessings. Have you noticed that blessings are selective? if I get home, if I wasn't here now, and if my wife was in the house, and I left this meeting and I got home at 4 o'clock, I can promise you, my wife will be on the food channel. How many of you know the food channel on DSTV? She'll be watching food channel from morning till evening. That's the only channel they'll be on. My problem is that how can you be looking at food you cannot smell or touch? And they will be on the channel, and I will go and find something else to do. Because I can't be imagining food. I'm beginning to food now, even though I can't smell it. And somebody will say, I want to be blessed like my wife. If God blesses me with food channel and a television, I will believe it's a curse. Blessings are individualistic. They are designed and tailored for you. Now, if you give me a PlayStation 4 with the latest Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and I sit in the sitting room on a 60-inch television screen, that to me is a blessing, and to my wife is a curse. But it doesn't bother her. You know why? Because she is who she is. And her food channel, I ignore it because I know who I am. Some of you will go and sit down by the food channel, by the PlayStation, and be watching it by force, and be learning to play it by force. Why? So that he can marry you. And some of you guys too will go and be watching food channel so that she can marry you. That's not being yourself. Be yourself. God knows there's somebody for you. God bless you.